What we had challenges with that large entertainment park conglomerate is noise, accents, similar sounds are killing us. Any kind of data. So I don't mean homophones. I mean things like, let's recognize speech versus let's recognize speech. Or I want to pen Home Alone. I'm from Philly. I have a really bad Philly accent. And so is like, I can't even make fun of my own accent, but I'm always going to sound like I want to pen Home Alone as opposed to I want to open a Home Alone for a bank. And if you can sort of pare down what the gap is between transcription and intent understanding without having to push it, this holy grail is what I've been chasing recently. So the question that we have is related to what we're discussing is, so can AI listen better? And what we've tried to do from not just, it started with consulting, but as more difficulties popped up, it became us trying to actually develop an AI that could do this. So as I mentioned, when I was at my chatbot company, very pragmatically, we were often asked, get this thing to work in my IVR. And so we were always, because we were always having that fight of how do we get it to work over there. And what we learned was we needed to develop something that, from a listening perspective, can pare down, not for accuracy's sake, but for improvement's sake, because these things change so quickly, like digital chatbots. From a programming standpoint, how can you change the next time someone comes in tomorrow quickly without a 1-month IVR cycle? And what we needed to develop was an algorithm or a code that can have active listening as the tenant, is what we started to talk about internally. And active listening, which is a human term, is listening that has understanding as the prime objective. The prime objective is not to respond. The prime objective is not to get you an answer. And inherently, we've tried to always develop our platform and our consulting practice on, can we listen and consume as much voice as possible and use that to inform decisions and not necessarily interact with the customer. And so a lot of the AI that we've been working on is AI that's been primarily put together to understand and not reply. So when you think about what's said, what does the person want? One thing we always do when we're looking at a deployment is, are we looking for a court stenographer here, or are we looking for a counselor? So a way to kind of understand this. So do we want someone to just type it out, or actually listen and sort of read back or confirm acknowledgement to get to a resolution? We want to make sure that we know where they've been, so maintaining context and memory, which I know Amalia has been talking about. I think that's how it's pronounced. I've seen them around. So we want to avoid 51st dates. And so what can I use or who can I ask to prepare to understand them? And Tobias was talking about Jeff Bezos and this idea of you'll have a bot or an AI for Yelp maybe, and that's where you go for the best restaurant recommendations. And then if I want to talk to movies, just like you would talk to a friend, I talk to my friend who's really into cinema and knows all kinds of different screenplays and things like that. It's the same way with AI. So we're trying to have this thin layer of understanding, actually have AI help AI. So if you're listening, how many things can be on the line, if you will, while you're listening? And can it be more than just Google? So I think where Amazon is getting to is that their world and all that data stacked on top of it will be there listening, right? And everything they know. Same thing with Google. Everything they possibly could have in the Google suite will be there listening potentially. Or in Google's case, it's more of still the transcription and the push. And it'll be there with the push. For us, we're trying to say, like USAA, who I came in and saw earlier, they're having 2 million monthly chatbot conversations right now. And I think I know who their vendor is. That should be on the line when they call the IVR. And not just that. So how many things can you bring in to what's unsaid in that conversation?